Hello, everyone. My guest today is Johnny Boufarhat. He is the CEO and founder of Hopin, the online events platform. The company has grown from one person to a 40-person remote company in 5 months and grew in revenue from zero to $1 million in ARR in 3 weeks. Johnny, you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
So some more context around this. We are recording here on April 21st. Some of my friends have moved their in-person events to online and they are using your platform. And I said, well, if this guy's in the business of events and he's doing them online, I want to talk to him right now because your business must be going through all kinds of growth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pretty crazy period.
So tell us how crazy, right? So if people want to follow along, the site's hopin.to, hopin.to. What do you guys do, Johnny?
So we're a virtual events platform that really focuses on engagement and networking. Most of you guys have heard of virtual events before or been to them, and I feel like you kind of shrug in general. There's been virtual events have existed for 12 years, kind of always sucked, and so what we've tried to do is bring them online, not make them look too animated or too cheesy in a way, and also in the opposite sense, you've seen like the offerings that are like more like websites built with pictures of what areas should look like, if you know what I'm trying to say. And we focus on more of the networking, engagement, interactivity, and the things you really go to an event for.
Yep. This is those of you that are only listening on iTunes right now or Google Podcasts. The interface looks very much like kind of how you would go live on YouTube in terms of like there's live chat, but there's also nice buttons like a reception area you can go into or go into one-on-one meetings via kind of a meetings icon. There's a lot of other stuff built in. Is there anything else besides those features I just mentioned, Johnny, that you see a lot of your customers using today?
Oh, absolutely. And if you're looking at the website on April 21st, as we are on today.
Yeah, today, yeah.
That is, we have a new website coming out that shows all our functionality. I mean, we're in early access, but we have so many users now. But we do have a really big wait list. We just don't have a big enough team to basically handle the support and the customer success. But in terms of the product itself, that website is about 9 months outdated. It was just me on the team when the website was pushed out. We didn't have 23 engineers, and almost every image that you see there looks
you have 23 full-time engineers right now?
Yeah.
And what's the total team size?
38.
38. Okay, so you must have raised capital to scale that quick.
Yeah, we raised capital about 3 months ago or 2 months ago from Accel Ventures.
Okay, and how much did you raise?
We raised £5 million, around $7 million.
And so that was before really it was right as the virus was kind of hitting ish, but were there any chats about the virus during the raise and the diligence?
No, there was nothing. The virus hadn't hit yet. I mean, the process began in December.
Yeah.
And so it was a crazy raise, really. There was a lot of interest. In November I was, because we had seen the incubation. I mean, one of the cool things about events is, and you could see it with like Eventbrite, right? You invite 1,000 people to an event, right? 1,000 people will see the Eventbrite logo, get excited, and if they have a great experience, they'll say, when I run my next event, maybe I'll use Eventbrite. I've seen that before. Now, on the other end of the funnel, though, going to a physical event is complicated. It's not very accessible. It's not easy to bring people in, basically. It's not easy to plan it. Whereas with Hopin, I always said we're probably going to be the fastest growing company in the world when we decide to push out, because we saw the viral effect. You get 1,000 people in a funnel coming into one event. And then on the other end of the funnel, when they finish the event, if they have a great experience, it takes 10 minutes to set up an event on Hopin, and you can engage your entire, and this is what we're seeing, because we have virtual gym nights people do. We have conferences. I mean, we really consider ourselves just a venue. And that's why we kind of allow people to do any type of event they want to do and just give them the tools to do it. And so that's our philosophy, and it's worked really well. But it's also why I feel like, I was saying it in November, always to the people around me that, hey, when we launch, we better have a team because we're going to be in a lot of trouble to scale this basically functionally.
So I want to talk more about the virality and scaling. Put this on a timeline though for us first. When did you write the first line of code for the platform?
2 years ago.
Okay, so that would have been 2018. And then when was your first dollar of revenue?
So our first dollar of revenue, there was a few stages in that, but probably mid 2019, but we were in private beta. We've been in private beta for a long, long time.
But point is, you were able to write the first line of code, get an MVP up, and actually generate your first dollar of revenue in under a year. Basically, it sounds like 8 to 10 months.
Yeah. It was a speed dating company using our events for a speed dating event. So yes, I remember very.
That's funny. Okay, and today, what's the average customer pay per month or per year to use you guys?
So we have a self-service early access plan, and the average, the starting cost is $99 per user per seat, basically.
Now, what does that mean, though? Is that per organizer of the event or per attendee of the events?
That's per organizer of the event.
Okay.
So it's definitely not per.
That'd be very expensive. Yeah.
Very, very expensive. It'd be like a luxury venue. No, we're not that expensive as a venue. So it's $99 per organizer, so per seat, and that organizer allows you to moderate, to do things in the event, basically as you expect with any other per seat product. But it also gives you 100 registrations included per organizer. So this is how we've thought about it, that you have 10 organizers, for example, in your count, then you would have 1,000 free tickets to use every month to get people to come to your events.
Yep.
And then after that, you pay 50 cents per head. And that's our free plans, that's our early access plan. And then we have a enterprise plan that begins much higher.
Okay. And how many customers are you working with today, monthly?
How many customers? I think close to 1,200 now.
So walk me through the transition of the waitlist you have, even on the website right now. There's no wait. It doesn't look like, it just says join waitlist, join 10,000. How are you moving people from the waitlist over to paid?
Yeah, it's really difficult right now. It's we started the pipeline with a type form. Basically, the type form got overrun and we couldn't track it, and then we decided to send it through to Clearbit to enrich the data. And then what we realize now is that because coronavirus happened, or COVID-19, we've actually had just too much inbound to, this is it sounds incredibly bad because it would have been my dream in November for that, but too much inbound to do things properly. And that's a serious problem because we don't have proper support for those on the early access plan. So we're trying to even slow down. We have this wait list now close to 180,000. And we've probably onboarded about 2,000 of it.
Does that 180,000, that's just people that put in their email that said, I want to try Hopin?
Well, it asks you if you want to be an organizer or not. And so most of them select organizer. So it's about 95% organizer.
Okay.
So potential organizer. Because again, Hopin is a venue. We have people that are just looking for us for meetups. And on the other side, it's for people that are looking for conferences or hackathons, whatever it is that they're doing. It's across the spectrum. So we've had almost too much reach out to be able to handle, and it's led to, you can see it, I'm starting to see it on Twitter where people will just be like, how long does it take you guys to get back to us? You know what I mean? Sort of thing. And it feels pretty shitty, to be honest.
So what's the process? You get 1,000 new leads today. How do you know who to let in, who to not?
So at the moment, it's whoever bangs the door most. So people will usually fill in the people who really needed it. So for example, I got a call on Friday from one of our sales leads saying, hey, there's this company that was planning an event for Tuesday. They needed to run the event. They're in person, but they needed to move it online. This was 3 weeks ago. And so they were actively messaging every single person on LinkedIn. This is the worst thing. Please don't do this because it's not. But I mean, it's kind of it's genuinely, obviously, if there's a really, really, really big companies reach out through our investors and then try and get an intro through there. But majority of people at the moment, we're reaching out on we're trying to do it as fairly as possible. We ask for what is your budget? Do you need self-service? If we realize it's a self-service person, someone who doesn't need any custom support or need to go near the enterprise plans, then if it's under a certain amount of people they're expecting at their event and it won't affect our bandwidth or we need to look at it with extra support sort of thing, we'll let them in pretty quickly if we can get back to them in the email. But at the moment, there's no real way, I would say, other than waiting. We're setting up a proper pipeline and we plan to launch publicly very, very soon. We're just getting the team in place.
Yeah. So the funnel right now is I put in my name, my email, and if I want to be an organizer, attendee, or other, and then it takes me to the website that says, expect to hear from us in the next 48 hours with a link to go book a demo. So
wow.
And then that goes to the type form, I believe, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So what, you then take the type form and give it to your sales reps. And if someone says I have $1 million budget, you let them in quickly. Or if they say I'm going to have 10,000 people at an event, you let them in quickly.
That's what was happening. And then we realized the $1 million budget people were a lot of people that were agencies that run events for multiple companies, and we didn't have the tools to work, but we didn't have the contracts set up to work with agencies yet. So in most cases, if the budget's really, really high, yes, we will try to move them forward. But also, we're being mindful of how much support that high budget company is going to need, because we've noticed that a company that is running a $1 million budget, they're just not like, hey, we're willing to pay for the same software that everyone else is paying for $1 million. They want like 6 people to be running their project for them.
Yeah.
And so an event, they want extra support. They want all these things. So we've now decided that we're kind of looking for the middle tier, the people that we know, this is a decent budget, but also a lot of basically don't need as much support. And those are the ones that we are trying to funnel through.
Yeah, I'm going through the Typeform now. I mean, these are great questions. You're asking them like, is this a conference, a hackathon, a workshop? You're asking like, what's their budget? How many people do you expect to register? These are all things that help you prioritize.
Exactly. Yeah. But even still, I would say we're not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
And we're even qualifying that in Clearbit after, and we've tried so many things to basically nail it.
So what is the flow today? In the middle of the virus, everyone's moving everything online. There is no other option. Like yesterday, how many new leads did you get fill out the Typeform, and how many people actually booked a demo using your Notion integration after the Typeform submission?
I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at this, but I think the number is close to the HubSpot form. The website form gets a lot, over 1,000, whereas the around 1,000 a day. Okay. And the Typeform gets about 130 to 180 a day.
180 per day. Interesting. And then how many new demos get booked per day?
So now we've switched the system, and that was very recently. I should have mentioned that. So if it looks like someone that needs a one-to-one demo, high budget, big company, big enterprise, for example, we'll send it over to a one-on-one demo with one of our team members, which we've recently done. Everybody else gets to go to a group demo that we're starting to set up twice a week. So the group demo is basically where we show them the product, etc. There is a live Q&A. It shows all of Hopin's features and why we're amazing our demos, because they're not just like a webinar. It's like you get to experience everything. There's live Q&As where you can turn on your video, ask questions to different people on the team. And from there, we're trying to push people to say, like, go do the self-service plan if you want.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, when you have an AC that's $99 a seat and you don't know if it's going to be a $99 seat a plan, or, they have 10 organizers, you don't know. It's hard to associate a sales rep with a $99 a month plan. So doing the one-to-many approach actually helps you scale the sales team and do it profitably.
Absolutely.
How many salespeople do you have with quota?
At the moment, we have 11, and 5 have joined in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, got it. So 11 with quota. And then, so let me ask you a different question. How much new ARR have you driven over the last 3 months?
1.5 months ago, there was 0 ARR. We were still in private beta. We were very, I'm saying 0, but it's like we weren't pushing out. The reason we pushed out is because of COVID-19. At that time, it was about an 8-person company that was just mainly developers and myself just working on the product, perfecting it, waiting till September. What happened was COVID-19 happened, and we said, oh my God, we don't want this marketing, because what's going to happen is people are going to use Zoom or typical things for their virtual events. And at the end of COVID-19, I was worried that everyone would just say, oh my, virtual events are not great. They don't work. And so actually there would be a negative experience of virtual events, and it would be harder to switch the name positively. So that's why about 3 weeks ago, I decided, okay, let's open up the gates. Let's show the product to people. Let's hope it doesn't, hope it basically, even with 20% less features than we wanted to have when we launched, let's push it out. And we did. And, it's been hard to manage it. But in that time, in about 3 weeks, I think we're at now 1.8 million ARR from the company. I mean, when I filled in the form with you, it was 1.
Yep. Amazing. Okay. So a couple other questions on that. What was the wait list size before COVID, like 2 months ago?
The waitlist side before COVID was around 80,000, and that was over 9 months.
Okay, so that's impressive. Let's ignore the virus for a second. How did you drive people to get on the waitlist?
We're lucky that we had a very, again, viral product. So even in our private beta, someone would host an event. You have a good experience. About 1,800 people would show up to one of our early access or really deep early access events. And we were noticing that about 10% of people would go in and try and fill the form. So
attendee to user.
Yeah, attendee to user. So for us, and that's what I meant by, it was going to be hard for us not to be one of the fastest growing companies in the world, and we need to have things in place because events are incredibly, it's a great funnel. Same Eventbrite had that. A lot of these other event patterns have it, but I think online events like the ones we're creating have it way more, about 10x, 20x.
Yep.
So I already felt that way coming in, and this has just kind of made it a little bit crazy.
Did you have, Johnny, a bunch of other what I'm trying to figure out is how were you able to get 7 million raised pre-revenue? You could point to the wait list and the viral coefficient. You could point to your I don't know a lot about your background, but what enabled you guys to raise? I mean, you had to raise 7 million on at least a minimum 20 pre. You're not going to have more than 30% of the company before you have any revenue. How did you get that kind of valuation pre-revenue?
I had built the product as a one-person team. I think it was a mix of things. There's a lot of it maybe to do with how the platform was built. So I built the product basically on myself over 2 years, and it comes a lot back to my story. I was. It may be a story for another time, but basically, by the time the product came out, I had already basically shown that the virality. So I had data showing the virality of the product, and so when I went to venture capital, it was quite obvious that this product is going to absolutely blow up. And I was, I'd love, anyone who wants to know a little bit more should see a demo of the product because it's very similar to the product now. It's better designed, but the initial one that I did, the prototype, let's say in that I released in about November, September, it's pretty clear that it was needed for the world. It's a product that was, the events market is a $1.1 trillion market. It's very rare that you're creating a new, let's say, segment of it. And I don't want to say it in that sort of way, but 400 million of that is business events, and that's the part that we're competing in directly, immediately. And we're more accessible. We're better for the environment. It's easier to collect emails. It's easier to collect data. There's so many reasons why it's better to do it online, or even better to hybridize.
Yep.
So it was, I think, for a lot of VCs. And there was a lot of excitement around our product, and a lot of excitement, especially being in London. We had a lot of US VCs, very keen, as well as the Europeans. So it was just, I think it was a matter of, hype. It's a wrong word, but hype and excitement about the product.
Johnny, last couple questions here. You raise money, you have to invest aggressively in growth. There are 38 people on the team today. How much money are you burning every month to take advantage of this opportunity and grow as fast as you can?
So we're currently burning close to 400,000
total.
Yeah, total this month was 400,000.
Okay, and then you subtract revenue off that, so you're burning maybe 250-ish, 260 grand a month.
That's right.
Plenty of runway with 7 million just raised. And then what about churn? Is it too early to look at gross revenue churn past 30 days?
No, I saw it. I saw the numbers actually yesterday, and it looked like it was around 11%.
Okay, a monthly.
Yeah.
You probably expect that on the events business. That's really high for a traditional SaaS company, but you probably expect that being in the events business.
I expect that being in the events business, being in it right now. I mean, it's none of the numbers that are happening right now in our product are sustainable. Like, I'd be crazy to say that it's gonna obviously continue growing. We're gonna be incredibly viral. But what I imagine is, if we're growing at a 900% per week type thing now, let's just say, a ridiculous amount, the churn is also going to stabilize. People are going to be like, oh, this is what I actually want to host events for. And the serious people that we're always looking to host these events and can create value are going to be the ones sticking with it. But as who knows how long COVID-19, I could be totally wrong. But I believe that everything's just going to stabilize right now. People are trying the product and just being like, I can't get past the wait list. They don't have enough tutorials. I'm going to pay for it just to figure out how it works.
Yep.
And jumping out. So most of our data now is not complete data.
Are you able to back into a CAC for a new $99 a month plan?
Sorry?
Are you able to back into your current CAC to get a new $99 a month organizer?
Yes, currently we can.
What is it about? Like, is your payback pretty quick, you think?
I would say it's about 3 months probably.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's not bad. So $270 to get the customer. Where are you spending that money? Ads?
No, we're not spending the money at all. I mean, it's mainly on the video technologies because we assume that this person. So it's not our cost. I shouldn't have said it like that. It's not the cost of bringing the customer in. It's the cost of how many events the customer we expect them to host based on our basically formula. How much our video costs are, because currently we haven't built everything that we wanted to in-house, and video streaming costs are very high, and the amount of tests that they run. So I took it in a different way, but basically that's the amount of costs that we're running on a customer totally before they come in. We're not running any ads.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, when they're just testing it in the beta, you have to pay about $270 to your video hosting people to support them when they're free. Then they convert to paid.
Literally, we haven't had time. We haven't had time to negotiate our contracts, anything. Like this is, by the time this interview is done, hopefully everyone's, I don't know when this is going to be published or anything like that, but we'd be in a better place. But at this moment, we've been thrown into this because of COVID-19.
Yep.
Completely.
All right, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
I would say probably The Lean Startup. I'd probably say.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
At the moment, I would say I'd put it down to two or three people, but I would say I'd say it has to still be Elon Musk. I don't want to sound like that person, but it's definitely Elon Musk.
All right, fair enough. Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building the company?
Notion.
What tech stack are you built on, by the way?
We're built on, at the moment, Ruby on Rails, React, Postgres, Amazon, what you'd pretty much expect from a startup.
Video tech stack is heavy on Amazon too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number four, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
At the moment, 5.5.
Okay, and situation, married, single, kids?
Single.
All right.
Sorry. In a relationship. I thought you were married or single. She just took a look at me.
She's looking at you right across the table right now going, what do you mean?
10-year relationship. Apologies for that.
There you go. Trick question. All right, but no kids running around.
Yeah, no kids running around.
All right, and how old are you, Johnny?
I am 25 years old.
25. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
That you should probably focus on skills that matter most earlier.
Okay. Guys, there you have it. Hopin seeing incredible growth, going from $0 to $1.5 million in AR over the past basically 2.5 months as COVID has hit. They help you manage and run online events, raised $7 million and back in December because they were seeing an crazy virality rate between people using their free product and those attendees that use the free product converting into organizers of new events themselves. They're scaling nicely, about 30, 40 people hired over the very recent past, 38 people today total. They're seeing pretty high churn numbers, but again, that's to be expected when they're growing so fast as well. Currently have a product flow where you put in the Typeform information, you go into a group demo, and then they close from there. $99 a month for each organizer, 100 free seats per organizer. Johnny, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much.